So the thing with the writing is that I really liked about it was that even if it's a small mission, like a side mission or just like a hunting mission, it puts Aloy in scenarios and therefore the player in scenarios where there's either situations or perhaps emotions that you've not encountered before or types of people that you wouldn't normally have had to think about. And because of the dialogue options, it just challenges you to think, well, what would I say in this situation if I've never been in it before? How would I handle it? And it just makes you think a little bit about seeing things from different people's points of view and how different things impact different people as well. And I think that's a real strength of the writing in the game.
I think you referenced it, didn't you, Matt, the other day when we were doing one of the main chat talks, and you talked about like a decision you'd made in the game and how that had got you to think about things in a different way.
Yeah, mate, I think you might be thinking of something else. I have said that the writing is excellent. Really, I said the other day that it's got one of the best teams of writers working on it, and I am afraid I'm gonna have to go back to cutting them down a peg because it's necessary. At the very start, they have the credits, the opening credits sequence. And I look at the names, and they probably have 50 names, and all but 3 of them were men. And just go, you can make, men can make incredible things. A team that is 47 men and 3 women can still make amazing things. But you have to be aware, that's the Christopher Nolan complex, is that you have to look and go, how is this going to translate down to what we do? And only thinking about it now, I was going to ask you, Alex, about there's the color. You could argue that they've gone right. The world is colorblind. No one sees color in this world. But then also, it really, I don't know how far it goes into calling it cultural appropriation. Because there's all these tribes, and they've just okay, it's a colorblind tribal system, and we've got a matriarchal society, a sun worshiping society, and it just really, it's just an uncomfortable. You think, they're trying all these interesting, exciting things, whereas it could be a group of 47 white men looking at things and going, this is interesting, I'll put this here.
Could be. Yeah, it's interesting to think about. I was just thinking, I don't know much about it, so I can't really comment, but there's probably quite a variety of different Native American tribes that they could have drawn. I think they probably did draw inspiration from the game being set in what was America as well. So I'd hazard an educated guess as to say that there's probably some influence from Native American tribes in there somewhere, possibly. But again, I literally have no idea what I'm talking about, so feel free to discount that comment. But yeah, you could argue that there are some undertones there of potential cultural appropriation, just because obviously the cultures that they're talking about are completely made up. So I don't know if that makes sense in anyone else's head, but
yeah, it does. It's just like
they're like, no one will notice this because it's a completely new made up thing. And in fact,
but on the other hand, a lot of these things, the ways that societies developed and grew, and the cultures and the clothing and the I don't know, just the ways of living are generally believed to have come out of the surroundings and of the just of the humanity, just of existing. And so is it so wrong to draw from existing cultures, because those things did happen? So is it unlikely that those same things might happen in a like post-apocalyptic future? Or
I suppose when you think about it, it could just be like a big circle thing where, humans do tend to sort of repeat themselves, don't they? So theoretically, if you were thinking about an apocalyptic future, what might that look like in terms of human society? You probably might draw on the different cultures and civilizations and tribes of the past, which I think is probably what has happened here. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. But, it's just interesting to talk about and to discuss, I think, generally, or to at least open up the conversation about it.
I think I think it's a really interesting thing, especially what you were saying, Matt, about the people behind the scenes, like the people that actually make in the game are not demonstrating the diversity that we are seeing in the game. So therefore there does become that uneasy feeling about how much of this is just performative, how much of this is just sort of, like, oh, well, we know people, like, we'll just throw that in there. Or, as you were saying, this idea of sort of color blindness, and the idea that, like, it doesn't matter in the future, no one will care about these things, which is quite dismissive of the fact that we have that going on. Although you definitely have slavery in the game, and coming into other tribes and taking people away and all of that going on. So perhaps that was their way of trying to discuss these issues without doing it in a way that's too, I don't know, well, we all game for an escape, so there's got to be a bit, it can't be too serious. I think it's really interesting, and I think the fact that they are not, that the team who are making it is not diverse, is definitely means that it brings all of that into question, whether or not that's a justifiable position. I think that having more diverse teams means that we could feel more comfortable that these issues have been discussed, and that these things are coming from a place of goodness and not just a place of ticking boxes.
I feel like you've just handed me the last nail to put in the coffin of my giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm afraid I've managed to talk myself out of giving them benefit of the doubt, because the first thing that made me go was because in the Frozen Wilds expansion of the first game, you go up north into the frozen, all scary ice, and the tribe that lived there is called the Banuk. And I've been reading a book that is set in either the Arctic or Antarctic, where the native, the Inuit, and pretty much the names of things, it basically just went, oh, we'll look at the Inuit and we'll just go, oh, we'll do something similar to that. So that made me go, that is cultural appropriation of the kind that doesn't understand what they're doing. They're saying, oh, I like the look of that, I'll take that and put that there. And when that's the problem, when you look at, oh yeah, it's 47 presumably mostly white men talking about tribes, and you just mentioning slavery then, and you're thinking, oh, they're bringing up these interesting topics to talk about. That really, it feels like those ring hollow, because they're not there just going, oh, slavery is interesting, we'll plot that in. And yeah, They can still be. It can still be. It's still an amazing set of game, but it's not the feminist hurrah wrestling ever. No more work to be done. We're here to cut the patriarchy down a peg.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that it's a low bar, isn't it? Really, if that is the case, and I think certainly we in our conversations we expect more, we need more, and it needs to be more than skin deep, and I think that is really important. But just so that we can end on like a positive note, well, I wanted to show actually a picture of because I uploaded them. I wanted to show. I took some. I've only done a few screenshots, and so I've got this one, which is
nice.
It's just the scenery is so breathtaking. And Alex, you said earlier about that you were excuse me. You said earlier that you were watching. You were like looking at like all the different things that they're wearing, and I've spent a lot of time looking at like what they've got in their hair and all of that. And I think but the scenery is just amazing, and you just do feel like you're there, and I think that's I always like a game where I can sit and watch the scenery. Sadly, in this game, you can only do that for about 30 seconds before something comes along and tries to eat you. So for me, I think the other thing that I really enjoy about it is the acting, is the voice acting, which is excellent.
It is.
So, anyone else want to come in with their favourite bits?
I have a final 3 game improvement things that I only discovered in my second playthrough. I've mentioned them both to you, but I will give them out for the to help the masses as they watch this video. First is you can, when you want to stealth strike or override a machine, you can sprint up and slide in from any direction and attack or override them as you sprint in, even if they notice you. So you don't have to always creep up. You can actually be very, very ballsy about it. Second, if you're riding on an animal and you're on a road, if you let go of the controls, it follows the road you're on. And that
I keep doing that, and my horse thing just keeps veering off, and I'm like, I'm not touching anything. I'm doing what Matt said.
You just need to make sure you're facing down the road, cantering, and then
and just step away from the keyboard.
So, it should be fine. And then the third thing, the preparation for your Jem. So we've talked about this before. What PC players are missing out on is the haptic feedback of the controller. Wait until you ride a bristleback with holding onto the controller. It is absolutely like you're holding onto the animal itself. The haptic feedback in this game is truly, it's revolutionary, and so I can give them credit for that. Well done.
Well, I might do the sequel on the PS5.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, because you'll have to wait like 3 years for it to come out on PC.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say, I paid £70 for it, and I get angry that they're trying to get us to pay £70 for games. This game is at least £1,000 worth of game.
Wow!
Truly, it's utterly it's unreal. You're getting way more than you pay for.
Okay.
I'm very glad they didn't put that price tag on it.
Yeah.
There are some benefits to being, like me and like getting everything very late in the day. I mean, I always get I think all games should be around £15 or free.
Yeah.
Communist.
What about you, Alex? Is there any standout?
I just just how sort of alive the world feels and how dangerous the world feels as well is something I haven't experienced in many games. It's not a feeling I'm always 100% comfortable with all the time, especially when I'm just trying to relax by a fire. And, they're just like around everywhere, and you're like, I can't stay still, have to keep moving. But in a way that makes the experience better because it feels more realistic and more sort of like, it is a dangerous place to be living in a post-apocalyptic world full of machines that are trying to kill you. Of course it's going to feel like that. But, definitely just the whole thing, the whole package is amazing. And talking about it has made me want to go back and try and finish it. So hopefully someday soon I will. And then I'll enjoy the delights of Horizon Forbidden West.
Well, before we do the FemPat rating for the game, I just wanted to ask you, Matt, actually, just off the back of what you've just been saying, do you think that if the media hadn't picked this up as a feminist, masterpiece, that you would have felt less critical of it? Do you think you would have felt that, how do you think that would have influenced? Do you think you would have felt that it had that it was progress but not? Whereas I think you seem more critical of it than.
Well, I just like with the Matrix, you can't unsee the patriarchy, and you can't. It's hard to turn the feminist lens off, but especially because it's a game, I cast a more feminist general eye over most things now. But because we happen to be talking about it for an episode, I just looked at it through my feminist lens for a bit, which is exactly what we do here. I was the only reason I was focusing on the feminist hurrah was just because you mentioned that headline. I would have gone, this is great, this is progress, this is good, this is fantastic, and then I might not have been so effusive with my criticism if I hadn't heard about that title. But so I would have, everything that I've said I still believe. Yes, but I was just, it added a bit more fizz to it because I think hearing the headline.
I think that's a really valid point, though, isn't it? Because it's like when these games are sort of self-congratulatory, then it makes you look at it in a more negative way, actually. And I think the point that you made right at the start of that sort of issue about, that is setting the bar so low. If that is it, then that is a problem. So I think was a really good point. I just wanted to clarify that really. And right, so this is Matt's thing. So I'm going to let you explain it. I'll put it up on the screen. There you go.
So, for anyone who is here for the first time, this is the Gaming the System FemPat Index, the Feminist Patriarchal Index, where we take a game and we ask, does this game represent a move towards feminist utopia and progress, or a regression working? Well, doesn't necessarily have to be working, the extent to which it's taking us backwards, or is it just keeping everything the same? Mm-hmm. Who would like to go first with their opinion?
I would say it's somewhere between feminist utopia and the S of status, but maybe a little bit closer to the S than not. I don't know how.
So like 6 dashes in.
Maybe
get some numbers on this now. We're going to get these. Okay. I would probably. I mean, I'm earlier on in the game, so I'm still very bright-eyed and sparkly now. So I think I'd move myself one more dash towards feminist utopia. I think it's good that we've got a. I think she is attractive, but I think she's not classically attractive, and so therefore I think that is a step in the right direction. I
think I'd put it just above the S and the T in feminist utopia. I should put status quo underneath, because then we could sort of measure I'll think of something. We'll have a FemPat Mark II. Yeah, because we didn't talk about in terms of her appearance, because when the character model for Forbidden West was first put up, everyone was going, "She's not sexy. I don't want to have sex with that," because that's how so many we've been spoilt. Straight men have been spoilt by the amount of sexualization of women in all media. And when I was looking at her, it's impossible to describe the difference in how it looks from the first game to the second game. So that's something you actually need to experience. But you look at her and you see what she can do, and you just go, yes, she's attractive. That's how it always is. They haven't made her all busty and perfect face. They've just made her attractive. But then it's what she can do. And then you take, as with anyone who is extremely skilled at something, that shines through them and makes them glow. And so that's why beauty can be found anywhere. It's the thing behind it that makes it glow. And so that's a place where that was a quote unquote bold decision, but one that you can, okay, well done, you can have that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was interesting though, Matt, because you put it higher than me and Alex. So
I talked you both out.
You talked us down, yeah. Okay, well, I think that's enough about that today. So I think we'll bid you all farewell, and like and share and comment. We want to hear comments. We want to see comments. That would be awesome. And find 3 people, 20 people who you think might like this, and
1 million people.
1 million people. And we will see you next time. We're out every Tuesday and Thursdays. We're doing stuff now, aren't we? And some days in between. So yeah. So thank you very much. Goodbye.
We hope you enjoyed that episode of Gaming the System. If you want to support us, you can donate to us through our PayPal by sending it to wearegamingthesystem@gmail.com if you want to send us a one-off donation. If you want to donate to us monthly, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamingthesystem. Until next time, bye-bye.